The Detroit Pistons resurgence is actually saving the NBA right now. I got 3 reasons why, and we're going to talk about it right here on Top Title Detroit. Let's go.
Perfect.
What's good? Welcome to Top Title Detroit. I am Eric Vincent, your host and Detroit Pistons beat reporter for ClutchPoints.com. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that support. We just tagged over 200 subscribers on the channel, and I'm super proud of that accomplishment, man. Thank you so much for y'all support. It means the world to me, and I think we can keep going stronger for the rest of 2025, so please run them numbers up. I would really appreciate it. But let's talk about the Detroit Pistons. Let's talk about the success they're having this season and why I believe their success is actually saving the NBA right now. I truly believe that for 3 specific reasons. Because if you listen to some other talking heads of the NBA media world, they would make you believe that the Pistons are boring and they're not worth your time of investment in watching, even though they're not even watching and investing. And that's fine, because those same talking heads who happen to be 4-time NBA champions and Hall of Famers with weird fetishes for barbecue chicken, we'll talk about that later. Let's stick to the Pistons for right now. I truly believe their success is actually doing an amazing service that's actually helping revive the care and the entertainment for the NBA for 3 specific reasons. Right now, the NBA is actually exiting the super team era right now. And honestly, I couldn't be happier about it. I'm so tired of this point of the NBA, and it's been a long time coming that we're able to move past it. Teams like the Phoenix Suns who want to microwave these fast food contenders, and it doesn't always work out. You're seeing that right now. They tried to stack up Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and an assortment of role players together to hopefully get to a championship, and it's not working for them. So much to the point of they might even miss the postseason this season. And they might have to blow up a lot of their roster to kind of suffice for what didn't work for them over the past couple years. They might have to be in the rebuilding stage for the next 5 to 10 years to try to find the proper direction if they can't get to where they were hoping for earlier this season. Meanwhile, if you look at the Pistons, who are on the complete opposite of that, and this is reason number 1 for me, they are able to build a young team and win at an organic pace. Even after going through the struggles that they've had, going through a 14-win season, came with a 28-game losing streak under Monty Williams, they've been able to triple their win total this season, sitting in the 6th seed of the Eastern Conference and have the playoffs right in their line of sight coming up very soon. They were able to get to this point organically, and I can't be any more proud of them than I am right now, because it's been a long road. It's been a lot of bumps and bruises on the road to get to this point, and they absolutely deserve it based on what they've done up to this point right now. Developing young players, taking their time, going through the necessary growing pains to get to this point of becoming a winning product. And being able to do it on the back end, the development of your young players means so much for an NBA franchise, especially for a sports community like the Detroit sports base, which loves the ability to grow their young talent and nurture them up from the ground up. Guys like Cade Cunningham, who's been fantastic since he's been here, but he's playing the best basketball of his career right now, and so much to the point that it's been able to stamp him as an all-star for the first time in his career. He is bound to become an all-NBA player. I think if I had a vote, I would vote for him first team all-NBA, probably get second team, but either way, it's a tremendous accomplishment for him, and it's helped serve to a point that it's gotten the Pistons to a playoff position. JB Biggerstaff talked a lot about wanting to lean on Cade as a two-way productive player, and Cade has answered the call. Top 15 in scoring, top 3 in assists, one of the best playmakers in all of basketball. I think the best rebounding guard of the entire NBA as a 6'7" point guard. Having that guy at your benefit in your backcourt is unbelievably beneficial to have, and he has not shortchanged his potential in any way, shape, or form at all. delivering on the defensive end too. I think he's one of the most underrated defenders in all of basketball. And Cade is truly showing how special he can be. And it's taken a lot of time for it to produce winning for the team, but it naturally progressed to get to that point as the roster grew and got better along with his development. Guys like Jaden Ivey to help complement his talent, who was also playing the best basketball of his career prior to his unfortunate leg injury. Hope he's doing okay. Hope he gets back on the court soon in good spirits. But Ivy was fantastic this year, man. I mean, showing that he has the ability and the potential of being a 3-level scorer, getting to the hoop, playing in transition, scoring in the mid-range, and being a very efficient three-point shooter in the process as well. He was shooting over 40% before the injury, and he was even dialed in and locked in as a defender too. The Pistons like to play in transition, and with a guy as naturally gifted speed-wise as Ivy is, he was one of the big points of emphasis to make that happen for this team. His growth was so cool to watch. Again, it's so unfortunate it had to get undercut with the injury, but I think he's going to be a big part of what they do moving forward as this franchise continues to grow and move forward in his development. Jalen Duren, another guy. I mean, if you look at the young core of this team, the development that they had was some of the biggest questions coming into the season. Can the backcourt work? Yes. Can Jalen Duren be that imposing two-way player on both sides of the floor as a paint protector and as a lob threat and an offensive threat for Cade Cunningham and the Pistons? Yes. Can Asar Thompson also, on top of his defense, give you some production offensively as well? Yes. He's a great playmaker. We've seen him give some awesome production as an off-ball scorer, and he's even taking steps in creating his own offense with the dribble, getting a little bit tighter with his handle as a dribbler as well. Asar has done fantastic as a defender and growing as an offensive scorer and producer as well. Ron Holland, who's been fantastic every single month that he's played with this team, he's showing unbelievable strides. Beef Stew, who even as a 6-man has been one of the best defenders in all of basketball. To me, he's been the best rim protector next to guys like Evan Mobley, next to guys like Victor Wembanyama. He's up in those kind of discussions, and he's not even a starter. It's unfortunate that he doesn't play enough to get that all defensive NBA consideration, because if he did get that 20-minute average, I don't even think it would be a discussion that he should be an all NBA defensive caliber player. He should have that stamp, but unfortunately, he doesn't average the required minutes to get to that point. But even so, he's still helping contribute to winning basketball for this Piston basketball team. These young players are doing a tremendous service, and the winning is coming because of them. That's the main reason to why they're doing so good. I think the veterans have done a good job of helping aid them, but even considering how good they've been, and I'm super proud of the veterans. I love what Tobias Harris has done, who, again, I think is playing the best defense of his career, being a very helpful and efficient, multifaceted scorer for the Pistons. Tim Hardaway Jr. is playing fantastic on both sides of the ball. Malik Beasley, who's been one of the best shooters in the NBA all season long, one of the best value signings in the offseason for the NBA. While they're doing fantastic, the forefront of the Pistons' resurgence has been the young players. It would be one thing if Malik Beasley was like the second leading scorer and kind of carrying the weight for Jaden Ivey, as like if he were hypothetically still struggling to get his shooting together and wasn't the most consistent or efficient player, and you had to rely a little more than you wanted to on a Malik Beasley. That would be a little worrisome for the Pistons. The fact that all the young guys have grown and shown that they can live up, or at the very least show the peaks of their potential, shows how special that this team can be, and it proves that they're heading in the right direction as they're trying to get back to a winning track. You want the young guys that you've invested in to be the main reasons to why you're finding success with this basketball team. And I don't think there's any question that they've been the most important parts to what they've done. Duren's, growth as a defender and a rim protector, being able to find ways to stay out of foul trouble and be that deterrent that the Pistons need him to be on a night-to-night basis. That has done wonders for them. Having Asar healthy and on the floor after dealing with the blood clot issues that he suffered through last season, unfortunately, which made him miss some parts of the season of this year as well. when he got on the floor, when he became a starter, when he was, well involved within the rotation on a consistent basis, he showed that he could not only do great things for himself, but elevate the production of everybody else around him as well. And it's been infectious through the rest of the team. That identity has been basically reflected through the rest of the team. And we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But for me, I cannot be more proud of the Pistons seeing that they're able to be on this winning path with the development of their young players being the main reason why. You didn't want Tobias Harris averaging 25 points and then letting the other young guys kind of struggle and maybe they'll get there, maybe they won't. No, they are the main reason this team is doing so good. The veterans doing a great job of complementing them. JB Biggerstaff has done a fantastic job of putting them in the best positions to grow and develop. And it's obviously working for them as they sit here now with 42 victories and 6 games left in the regular season. It's been absolutely fantastic to watch, and I'm super proud of what this team has done so far. Something else that the Pistons are doing right now to help them get to a point of reviving the interest and the energy that we haven't seen in the NBA for quite some time, they're sparking rivalries again. Let's have a quick quiz right now. What is the last major NBA rivalry that has mattered? Tell me. I'll wait because we haven't had one in quite some time. You're sitting there in the comment section waiting for somebody to add because it hasn't been a lot at this moment. Not that have carried over for a year-by-year basis at least. Looking at what the Pistons have done and the way that they play, they are building true rivalries within the NBA. It's not just one game where they're getting into a little bit of chippiness with one team. It's energy that's carried throughout the entire season. You see it when they play against teams like the Indiana Pacers, where they lose one game or win the next, during the play-in tournament, and then the in-season tournament, excuse me, where even after that, they're talking trash with the Pacers, and Jalen Durd is at the podium saying, we'll see them next week, and you see them chirping and having that true energy that shows that these guys don't like each other. That natural energy and that natural kind of, on court, I don't want to say hatred, but just that competitive fire to show that they want to be better than the other guys. I think that means something, especially with a division rivalry. It means something to see the Pacers, who already have a historic rivalry with the Pistons going back to the Malice at the Palace days. Like, it means something to see it be revived into this point. And it's kind of entertaining, especially with those teams kind of in the same area of the Eastern Conference right now. The same thing with the Orlando Magic. We've seen the Pistons kind of bump heads with them with a lot of chippiness and a lot of, trash talk and physical play that is developed into some pretty entertaining ball back and forth. We all saw what happened with the Minnesota Timberwolves just several days ago, where, Rod Holland strips Naz Reid and he freaks out, and Dante DiVincenzo makes a dirty play and escalates a fight. Granted, we don't know what that's going to take it, for next season, because they're not going to play the Timberwolves again unless they both make the finals. But at this point, that was a huge talking point and a huge development of the season. And the Pistons' play style really brings an energy that we haven't seen consistently from a lot of teams, that reassures fans that these players really care about these games. A big, stigma for NBA players was, oh, do they actually care about winning? Do they actually want to be here? Are they just collecting a check? The way that the Pistons play with the chippiness and the energy and the gritty style that they play with shows that they truly do care about the integrity of how they play and the competitive fire that comes with it as well. Again, that energy doesn't really exist within the NBA, and it hasn't existed for quite some time. I truly can't think of the last great NBA rivalry. I really don't remember. Like, I'm a 90s baby. I was born in 1990. I'm 34 years old. I remember seeing teams like the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns back in the day have the rivalry that they had. Even the Pistons and the Pacers back in the 04 days, like where the Malice the Palace broke out and they were scrapping and going crazy. And then even in the postseason playoff run that same year, where Tayshaun swatted the ball at the last second and took the heart out of the Pacers fan base just like that. Sorry to give you all the PTSD back, but that's one of the greatest plays in NBA history. And that matters so much because it was a rivalry that was attached to it. The NBA needs more of those. It's not enough rivalries. Like, I love what Memphis is doing right now. They're a chippy team that doesn't mind getting gritty and dirty and talking trash. And even the Rockets as well, with the guy like Dylan Brooks on your team. Those kind of players bring out that kind of rivalry energy between teams. And I think the NBA needs more of that because it creates primetime matchups, it creates better storylines, and it creates more to pay attention to outside of just who's going to win the championship. The NBA relies so heavily on postseason and ring culture. You need more than that in an 82 game season. And I think when you have players and when you have teams that genuinely don't like each other, it makes it that much more entertaining to pay attention to when they do collide, especially if they do find a way to come back to each other in the postseason. So if the Pistons have to see the Pacers in the playoffs, it's going to make that series that much more entertaining. Not just because they're two of the, teams that have revived, their winning history, but because they genuinely don't like each other and want to take the other team down. It's not even just the players that are reflecting it as well. JB Biggerstaff, he's been bold enough to kind of take on that, that hunch for the team where he's able to say, hey, I'm in the same boat with my guys. We saw him chirping and talking trash with the Minnesota Timberwolves coaching staff where they both got ejected. And he was able to carry that same energy into the post-game presser and talk about it and say, you're not just going to be able to say any belligerent thing you want about my guys and think that we're not going to retaliate. He said that's a non-negotiable thing. You always stand up for your guys. You always hold your ground. And the Pistons have been doing that all season. They're not escalating these fights all the time. I think they've been doing a good job of being the retaliator more so than being the initiator. And I think that matters because you don't want to have bad boy basketball where they're just being dirty and just, elbowing and harming guys on a day-to-day basis because they can't stop them. This is genuinely how they play. And I think it's a great thing to have in an NBA league that doesn't really emphasize rivalries anymore. The last rivalry I really can think of in the modern day, the Warriors and the Cavaliers, maybe, and I don't even really consider that a rivalry. Like, they made a lot of it about LeBron versus Steph, but I mean, that's just because those are two pantheon great players. And then you throw KD in there. Those are three of the best players of this generation and of this era. So that's just an automatic. That doesn't really make it a true rivalry, even though that's what the media tried to pose it as. That's not a rivalry. These players now, the Pistons now, are truly making the energy that they have for some of these opponents that they have a true, legitimate rivalry. And I think that's awesome for the league. I really think they've been missing that for quite some time. The final reason why I think the Detroit Pistons are helping save the NBA, the final reason, the third reason, they don't play like every other team. It's a very copycat league. You see that in a lot of sports, NFL as well, the NBA for sure. Steph Curry, as everybody always says, has revolutionized and changed the NBA. For the better or worse is up for debate. That's up to you. But the point of the matter is a lot of teams rely on what? 3-point shooting, quick, fast-paced basketball. The NBA now so much has emphasized offense way more than they have defense because you're not only seeing it a tick up in 3-point shooting, you're also seeing players go to the free throw line shooting 100 free throws a game, whether it's SGA, Trae Young who foul baits, Jalen Brunson who foul baits, Giannis who just dribbles and crashes into guys, and he goes to the free throw line 15 times a game. Jokic does the same thing. The Pistons don't play like that. Cade Cunningham has a tag that I love about his name. He's an ethical hooper. He doesn't do what everybody else does. He doesn't go for the cheap tactics of getting to the free throw line and drawing fouls and letting that be their path to success. They don't play like that. Like we just talked about with their rivalries, they play a gritty style of defense that leads to transition basketball that emphasizes the suits and the powers that they have as a young team, that relies on their athleticism, that relies on their youth, that relies on their speed, and that equals to transition basketball. That's why they're one of the best at it in fast break production. I think that means a lot. In a copycat league where teams like the Boston Celtics, who put up a bunch of threes every single game, even though they're able to play in different ways, it does kind of get boring after a while where possession after possession after possession is constantly 3-point shot here, ISO, dribble, 3-point shot there. It does get kind of annoying after a little while. JB Bickerstaff also talked about this. He also talked about how he misses the old school way of the league where the big man was emphasized more, where he would play on the block, you would post up and play a little bit more physical, and you were allowed to be, a little more physical defensively as well. That's just not the era that we live in anymore, at least not from a consistent basis throughout the league. Everybody just wants to run up and down and shoot a million threes as they can. The Indiana Pacers do the exact same thing. And I just don't think that's great for the league for everybody to play like everybody else, because everybody can't play like Steph Curry. Everybody can't play that exact same style. It brings a better interest in viewership for the league when you're seeing something different. You don't want to have everybody just copying and trying to imitate what Steph does or what Dame Lillard does. Like, it makes it more entertaining to have some variety and some diversity with these young stars that are coming up. You're not having the guys just doing the same thing. Anthony Edwards doesn't play like Steph Curry. Jokic doesn't play like Steph Curry. Kay Cunningham, like a lot of these guys that are young up and coming stars that are becoming the new faces of the NBA, they bring something different, and I think that's a beautiful thing to have. Victor Wembanyama, like these guys, they're doing things that we haven't seen ever, or we need to see more of moving forward. That's the new chapter that's being turned with the NBA, and I think the Pistons are doing a fantastic job of describing that and providing that in the NBA with how they play on a night-to-night basis. They're one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, especially after being one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA last season. They've completely flipped that script. JB said he wanted to help establish an identity for this franchise, and it's not only refreshing to see that they've been able to do it and provide winning basketball to be in the conversation too, but they're also doing it in reflection of old Piston teams that have been successful historically as well. We talked about the Bad Boys, how they relied on defense. We talked about the 04 Pistons, how they hung their hat on defense. To me, that's the best defensive team in NBA history. They were able to hold teams under 70 points and still make it entertaining in the process. To me, I think the 04 Pistons are the best defensive team in NBA history. I truly believe that, and I can make the case. But knowing that the Pistons currently today are able to lean on that same grit, which other Detroit sports teams kind of, personify as well, and the Pistons of old have personified as well historically, they're doing the exact same thing. Maybe to a different tune with obviously a different bit of a style with, obviously pick and roll offense and, a lot of more action and different kind of athleticism that they're bringing to their roster. But based on how they're playing now defensively, it's always something special because I know the old school guard loves it. Isaiah Thomas really, really appreciates how they play up to this point right now and what it means to see kind of that reflection of their old team based on what they used to play back in the day. Like, I really think they appreciate that. And I think fans appreciate the same thing too. The fact that they're able to bring something different, bring that gritty nature, and bring a different kind of identity to the NBA really means a lot. It also challenges their opponents to kind of bring that same energy. You're not just going to come out here and play like everybody else and think that we're not going to give you our best matchup or our best effort just because it's what you want to play. Like, you can go ahead and shoot those threes. We're going to contest them every single time. Like, we know what the league rules are. We know we don't have the best, rep and repertoire with the league right now or with the officials, but we still going to play our brand of basketball to make sure we can bring a winning product back. And that's exactly what they've been able to do at this point. 42-34, playing fantastic basketball and showing that their identity doesn't have to be like everybody else just because that's what you want. Just because the league wants to emphasize scoring 130 points every night. No, we can play our style and we can adapt and play that style if we need to. We have shooters on this team now. We're able to shoot and score 140 points like they've done this season or 130 points like they've done this season, but we can also lock you down to hold you under 100 points and make you get down in the dirt and play our style of basketball as well. I love that they're able to be so versatile like that, and I love that they don't conform to what everybody else in the NBA does. It makes it that much more special that that's what the Pistons can bring to the NBA court. And again, to bring winning basketball with it, again, it means something to see the potential, but to finally see the wins come along with it in the process, it makes it that much sweeter, and I'm so proud of the Pistons for bringing what they brought this season. But talk to me in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Do you agree with me, or do you think I'm tweaking? Do you think the Pistons are actually helping save the NBA this season? Talk to me in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you also think about the playoff outlook as well. Who do you want to see the Pistons take on in the first round of the playoffs? Again, we got 6 games left. We are finally at a point in the Pistons rebuilding stage where we are able to play meaningful games and look forward to meaningful games moving forward in the very soon point of the calendar. Talk to me in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Make sure you, again, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend to come check us out right here on Top Title Detroit. I would really appreciate the support, man. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate the love. I am Eric Vincent, and I'm going to see you again here soon. Peace.